The audience member spoke at an open forum to the Board of Education and felt ignored because of the archaic rules of no discussion at Board of Ed meetings. What can you do to change the public communication and create more meaningful input from the community? Mr. Meshkin.
First of all, I apologize to that parent, even though I'm not on the Board of Education, because I know exactly what you feel like, because I've been in the same situation myself. I'm not sure why that's the case, because we have some very nice people that serve on the Board of Education. I happen to think that it is probably a dysfunction of process. At the end of the day, our Board of Education and our superintendent develop proposals, and after they've gone through all the time of developing those proposals, then they're interested in getting public feedback in the process. There's very limited opportunities, whether it's in the development of board policy, whether it's in the development of the budget, whether it's in various different decisions that happen in the school system, for the public to actually have wide-scale input in that process before the meal is close to being completely done. It's generally feedback, and that feedback can be, yes, I like what you guys have done, or no, I don't like what you guys have done. And sometimes that contributes to some of the acrimony that we see. I think it does a disservice to the public by not having more input and involvement. It does a disservice to the school system and those people who work on the board.
Thank you. Mr. Ballinger.
When a process is set up in which we do not have the input at the beginning, but at the end when it's had the feedback, it's like when you have dinner, as Brian kind of commented, and you're eating dessert first and not even having your appetizer. The process needs to be fixed where parents and teachers and the board members, because I believe very strongly that anyone who volunteers their time, and I say a lot of the time is volunteer for a board member for the hours they put in, and I thank Frank and Sandy for doing that, is set up to make sure that we can come together and come up with a plan and come up with a process and a policy in which we all can engage and be involved in and want to see succeed. And a lot of people do not believe that that is how the system works today. They go up and they say their 3 minutes and they leave and things aren't changed.
Ms. Kornreich.
The problem with public testimony is that it's an agenda item inserted into a regular board meeting. So that not only does it seem like an afterthought, but you're never really sure when you show up at the appointed time to give your testimony how long you're going to be there before your chance to speak comes up. So it's very disrespectful of the public's time and the effort that someone has made to come there and testify. And there needs to be a separation of the regular board business and a chance for not only public testimony but public debate at a separate time from when a regular board meeting is scheduled, so that it is taken very seriously and not just seen as an agenda item as part of a board meeting.
Ms. French.
The law says that no individual board member has any power. We are a corporate body, and we only have any power when we are gathered with due notice to the public and an agenda is announced. That is a business meeting with the superintendent and with paid staff. There is a part in 2 places on the agenda, at 4 o'clock and then at 7:30, for the public to speak. It is our responsibility to listen, but if I start speaking, I'm only one board member, and I might alienate the other board members who are saying you're answering the wrong way. So it's best for us to find out the information later and to have the official spokesperson for the board respond in writing to that person. If the community wishes to meet with the board and have an informal debate, we are always welcome or interested in meeting with the community at what we all call a community night for an hour and it's their agenda totally. We listen, we talk with them, but it's their agenda.
Thank you. Ms. Vaillancourt.
Yeah, I have a fundamental difference of opinion with Ms. French over what she has just said, and you can talk about the law tells you you have to do it this way as much as you want, it doesn't make it true. The Board of Education at the local level is the responsible party for administering the schools in our county. They are the elected representatives of the people of this county, and they should be answerable to them. Any of these rules that we are functioning under on Board of Education evenings can be changed. They can be altered. They are not cast by a lightning bolt to a piece of rock on a mountain, Israel. They are subject to what the will of the Board of Education elected members are willing to do for the people of this county. If I were on the board, I would have high school kids providing daycare or babysitting for the parents who don't have to pay for a babysitter to come. And everybody who has a question would get an action line. Somebody on staff would be told, this person will be responsible for getting back to you within a week.
Thank you. Mr. Ballinger.
I want to use one of my cards to kind of just rebut what we just said here, and that I think this is the philosophy difference sitting here at this table that we all have. There is a belief, as what Ms. French said, in the way that the board should go and the way it functions, and there's a belief that I have. And I believe, as stated here, we are elected members of our community, of this county. We represent the taxpayers, and we need to make sure we do two things, and we do it effectively. Number one, to make sure that the input of our neighborhoods and individuals are heard and are involved in the process. And number two, that we do it in a fiscally management way. And when we talk about a philosophy, that's really what we're talking about on every issue here, is how we get to the end game. How do we get to the final point? And as a candidate, and hopefully as a board member, I want to make sure that the citizens believe strongly that they are involved in the board decisions.
Thank you.